Disco may have been popular in the late 1970s and early 1980s, but it still has a significant cultural impact today. Here are some facts to show that disco is not dead. Sampling in modern music. Many modern songs and artists have sampled disco tracks and incorporate elements of the genre into their music. For example, Daft Punk's Get Lucky features Nile Rodgers, a disco-era producer and guitarist, and is heavily influenced by the genre. Nostalgia and revival events. There is still a strong nostalgia for the disco era, which is reflected in the popularity of revival events and themed parties. These events attract people of all ages, demonstrating that disco has a broad and enduring appeal. Influence on fashion and culture. Disco's influence can be seen in modern fashion and culture. For example, the disco-inspired platform shoes and glittery outfits are still popular, and the aesthetic of the era has been featured in films like Saturday Night Fever and TV shows like Pose. Legacy of iconic artists. Disco produced many iconic artists such as Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, and Chic, who continue to inspire new generations of musicians and fans. Their music is still played on radio stations and at clubs, and their influence can be heard in contemporary pop and dance music. So while it's clear that disco is not dead, it has evolved over time but still remains relevant. Did you know that some of your favorite songs, while called pop, could have easily been released in the late 70s as a disco track? Some examples of modern songs that incorporate elements of the genre and pay homage to the disco era and could possibly be classified as disco. About Damn Time, by Lizzo. Stay With Me, by Calvin Harris featuring Justin Timberlake, Halsey and Pharrell Williams. Uptown Funk, by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars. Get Lucky, by Daft Punk featuring Pharrell Williams and Nile Rodgers. Blinding Lights, by The Weeknd. Don't Start Now, by Dua Lipa, and many other tracks off her album, Future Nostalgia. What's Your Pleasure, by Jessie Ware. I Feel Love, by Sam Smith. Watermelon Sugar, by Harry Styles. Kiss of Life, by Kylie Minogue and Jessie Ware. And actually any song off Kylie Minogue's last album aptly titled Disco. And with bands like Purple Disco Machine, Disclosure and the Shapeshifters pumping out dance floor hits, feels like disco is as alive as ever. Can you think of a modern song that should be classified as disco? Leave a comment. We'd love to hear it. One thing's for certain, you can still find disco on any given weekend in many a nightclub. And if you check out Amazon Music, Spotify, Pandora or most streaming services, you'll find an active new disco playlist being updated frequently. And of course, disco is definitely alive and well right here in the new artbeatsgallery new disco house mixtape, an hour of continuous modern disco tracks, just added, as well as our new disco playlist. In the mood for some disco? Links are in the video description. Happy disco dancing!